I have a lot of women come to me and say, my IBS started after I had my gallbladder removed. Sometimes it's right away, sometimes it's years later, but nobody ever connected the two. They're told it's just IBS or that it's malabsorption or that their body's just sensitive. But what I see over and over again is that removing the gallbladder didn't solve a problem. It actually set the stage for a much bigger one. Now, before we get into that, quick context. Your gallbladder stores and releases bile when you eat. Bile is critical for breaking down fats, absorbing nutrients, and keeping digestion moving properly. When things go wrong, people can actually develop sludge or gallstones. And yes, there are ways to support the gallbladder, improve bile flow, and in many cases, actually avoid having it removed. I do this with my clients, but that's not what this video is about. What I really want to talk about is what happens after your gallbladder is gone. When your gallbladder is removed, you don't stop making bile, but you do lose control of how it's released. So instead of bile being released in a targeted, concentrated way when you eat, now it constantly drips into your intestines all day, every day. And that changes your entire digestive environment. This is where things start to spiral because that constant bile flow can irritate the gut lining. It can speed everything up where you end up with diarrhea and urgency. It disrupts how food is broken down. So now you have food that's not being properly digested. It's moving too quickly through your system and it's irritating the gut lining along the way. That alone can create symptoms. But the bigger issue is what this does to the gut environment over time. When digestion isn't working properly, you create the perfect environment for overgrowths. This is what I see over and over again in these cases. These women have bacterial overgrowths, yeast or candida, parasites in some cases, fungus, because now food's not being broken down properly. The gut environment is severely disrupted. The body is in a constant state of irritation. And that combination is exactly what these organisms thrive on. So it's not just a matter of, oh, you don't have a gallbladder anymore. It's that your entire digestive system is now functioning differently. And it's opening up the door for a much deeper dysfunction. I had a client who had her gallbladder removed, and over time she developed very severe cramping and diarrhea. It ended up getting so bad that she had to leave her job and just stay home. She was told it was IBS. This was just her new normal. But when we ran advanced testing, we found significant overgrowths of multiple types of bacteria, not just one, multiple layers of dysfunction. And this had likely been building for a long time. The gallbladder removal didn't create it out of nowhere, but it did create an environment for it to fully take over. Here's an actual screenshot of just one part of the testing that we did together. You can see she had an extremely significant amount of bacteria that had overgrown over time. These bacteria were releasing toxins that led to a lot of inflammation, cramping, gas, and very urgent diarrhea that hit her out of nowhere. Her doctors told her it was IBS and there was nothing else to do. They didn't do this kind of testing, not because they refused, but because the conventional healthcare system doesn't do these. They don't take a root cause approach to disease. Their focus is always going to be on symptom management. So I get asked all the time, why didn't my doctor do this kind of test? And that's why. This is the part that nobody ever talks about. Conventional care looks at, is there something structurally wrong? Let's do a colonoscopy with a camera and see what we can see with the camera. If there's gallstones, just remove the gallbladder. If they don't see a tumor, they say there's no disease, everything looks normal. But they're not looking at things like how digestion is actually functioning. What does the microbiome look like? What's happening at a deeper level? So women get labeled with IBS without ever understanding what is actually causing it. If someone's dealing with IBS after gallbladder removal, the focus should not be on symptom management. It should be on supporting digestion and bile function, calming the irritation, identifying and addressing any overgrowths that are in there, and rebuilding a healthy gut environment. Because until you fix that environment, those symptoms are going to keep coming back. Your body didn't just suddenly become sensitive, and this isn't random. There's a reason that your symptoms started. There's a reason that they haven't gone away. And when you understand what actually changed in your body, you can finally start addressing the real problem. If your IBS started after gallbladder removal, right away or years down the road, or you've been dealing with chronic diarrhea that no one's been able to explain, this is exactly what I help my clients recover from. I'll drop more information below on how to work with me, and if you want more content that actually explains the why behind your symptoms, then be sure to like and subscribe.